9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
We're looking right at the top. I can't look at the top. All right. Folks, how you doing? It's your main man, HUBERT GUY. We back here with another hit show, The Actor's Cut. I got my man Michael Excel in the building today.
Nice
yes,
to be
sir.
back.
Very talented young man right here. We're gonna talk to him. We're gonna see what he's been up to, see what he's got going on. I've worked with him in a few different little projects, man. It's a great dude right here. Very talented. Thank you for tuning in again. So with no further ado, Mike, man, thanks for coming down,
Thank you for
bro.
having me, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the family outside, everybody watching.
My name is Michael Excel. I am a New York-based actor in film and theater. I've been doing this for, professionally, I've been doing it for a few years now. I met Hubert in a play, 2016. 2016, yeah. It was just a long year, so I had to make sure. It seemed like 2 years,
right?
but that was really just 1 year. I'd done so many shows within 2016. It's crazy.
Right.
How many we've done together? 2?
Yeah.
I met you as Mr. Peterson.
Uh-huh.
Very interesting character. Very eccentric.
Mr. Peterson was off the chain.
He was on. I don't know if there was a drug this guy wasn't on. This guy was talking about shrooms. He was talking about LSD.
He had his little one-hitter quitter.
Yeah, his little one-hitter behind the desk. Yeah, with that storyline was interesting because it was a love story, but it was so funny anytime, it involved your character on stage. That was the comic relief, I think. Your character is the comic relief of the whole story.
Yo, that dude was off, man, he was off his chain, man.
Yeah.
He was always trying to get at the little honeys, man. This dude.
Always. I'm surprised she didn't have you trying to get at the my love interest in it at any point. Your character's a little too stressed out, though, to be trying to get at everybody at that point.
Well,
after a while,
that's why he was on all those prescription pain pills.
Yeah.
He was Rush Limbaughing it up.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite shows too, especially since it was like one of the first times I had like the lead role, I believe, and it was the first time I got to have a kissing scene on stage.
Right.
Wasn't really in the script, but. It worked out.
He's like, Shayna, I think we should put this in here for theatrics' sake.
It was not even my idea, though. I swear to God, like it really was not my idea. It was, I believe it was director Bonnie Wright. It was her idea. She ran it by Shayna. Shayna ran it by me. And then I was just kind of like, let's see what happens, because it was the last scene of the play.
Right.
Last thing that happens before the lights go down. So I wanted it to seem as real as possible. So I didn't exactly tell her I was definitely going to do it the first time. We had 3 shows of that show, 3 showings of it in one day. So by the 3rd time, we were pretty comfortable with it.
Right.
But yeah, it was a great show.
That was a great little show right there.
Yeah, it was a great show, especially to play somebody who, she didn't know exactly who I was the whole time. I was actually the writer of the play the entire time that she was trying to book the actor for. Because she was your secretary, well, not your secretary, well, kind of your secretary, right? Yeah, she was your secretary. That was very interesting, and it's just crazy the turn that everything has taken as far as the kind of characters I've been playing, because have you gotten to see any footage of Different Shades of Love that played out in Harlem last month?
I have not.
Well, that,
Talk to us about that. Tell me
all right,
about
so
that.
you know from firsthand that Bonnie Wright likes to have me play the Romeo a lot of the time, the love interest, that smooth dude who comes in and just, finesses his way in and usually gets the girl or whatever. But we had a table read, and you know how the table reads go sometimes. Sometimes you don't have everyone there to voice the actor, so you'll have to double and read for that person that's auditioning. And that's all that was happening. I was reading for Tony. I named him Tony Havoc. It just seemed like a savage name
Tony
for
Havoc.
him, because he's just not a nice dude. He was pretty bad, and
I think one of the rappers might bite that name when they see this show.
Tony Havoc. Tony Savage. Yeah, what basically happened with it is that I was reading for him, but not auditioning.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, when I was done reading, she was like, "You're Tony." She never thought that I could deliver the lines that way and be so nasty, I guess.
Right. Hey, well, this is
you
what
know.
you do, man. You
Yeah,
an
yeah,
actor,
yeah.
man. We embrace our characters.
If she would have given me a bad guy the first time I ever worked with her, I would have taken it. I wouldn't have been like, no. I'm still never really opposed to playing the bad guy. It's just really all about the story and what we're trying to tell. Like, if I agree with the whole message, then I don't have a problem. This was the hardest role completely so far, film, theater, everything I've ever done.
Right.
That was the hardest character
Right,
because he's an abusive husband and he's beating the shit out of his wife.
Right.
And I had to be very physical, I had to be very convincing with my role. It forced me to not, the whole entire day almost, I couldn't really break character, you know. I had to be him
That's
the
one
entire
of those roles
time.
that you gotta stay in. You know, you can't just slip out of a character like that.
I usually, I usually do stay in character as much as I can, you know, on and off stage and on and off camera when I can, when it's the day of. But when it comes to characters like that, I just have to take it up a notch. Especially, you know, the LA rep, you know, she kind of wanted me to take it up a notch in that last rehearsal, which was like 2 days before the show. So to get a critique like that 2 days before the show, it kind of, for me, it puts me on edge. It puts me in a spot where I'm like, I'm worried that, you know, the fact that they had to say something to me, I hope that whatever it is that I'm not doing doesn't happen the day of the show.
Right.
So it just made me more him, and it was almost scary because my brother and his girlfriend they come to every show, and they came to the show and they're recording on Snapchat and stuff, and they make eye contact with me, and I'm still Tony. And
At home.
No.
I know.
It was when we
Right.
came out.
Right.
You know, when we do curtain call, by curtain call, I'm usually out of character. This time I couldn't get out of character. We had another showing of it in a couple hours too, so it was crazy, especially since I had to play a totally different character in between that too with a different show.
Right.
So I had to snap in and out of the character, but I had a hard time doing it just because Tony is so heavy.
Right.
And they thought I was pissed because they showed up like 10 minutes late. So they thought I was just mad at them. Like, yo, she's like, maybe we should show up on time from now on. And I had to tell them after, like, nah, literally it was the
Tony.
character. I could, yeah,
Tony.
it was like that. And same thing happened with a character named Zeke that I played recently. It's something that is a pilot, is being pitched right now to Netflix. It's called Shooter's Nail, and it's basically it takes place in Philly, and it's kind of after, you know, election time. We got a new president that not everybody really agrees with, you know.
Right.
I'm sure you could understand that, and
Well, I did see an executive order on Facebook that he signed today that mumble rap was gonna be punishable by death. So Lil Yachty and all those other fools that's mumble rapping, I think that's a real executive order.
oh man, Whew.
It was on Facebook.
I guess all right. I guess Mos Def is in the clear then. My guy.
Right.
My guy.
You're welcome back. You are welcome back.
I'm actually just excited about Mos Def coming out with another album. Actually,
Right.
That's why I even brought him up. But that's one. If that was actually a thing, oh my God, they'd be in trouble, man. There'd be a lot of people in trouble.
Oh man.
The radio would just be silent from now on because.
We go back to some good old R&B.
Some good. I mean, but you know what? We
Back
got
to
some
the
good
70s,
dudes. We
man.
got some good dudes. Like Kamau, I was talking about earlier before we turned on.
Right. Yeah. Let's talk about this project that you're involved in.
My brother Kamau is a music artist who he's based in rap, and you know he sings. So I would consider him like a hip hop soul artist, in my opinion. He's very conscious. He's very aware of the message that he always tries to put forth. And I call it like no bullshit rap, basically. The opposite of what he was just describing. Yeah, he has
describing bullshit rap.
Yeah, he has a very great message and intention to better everybody that's around us in the sense that, you know, we're all one family, and we're kind of tired of being so segregated and you know, things aren't the way, the world really isn't the way it's supposed to be. I mean, people, we walk down the street, we don't really say hi to each other, we don't really talk to each other. I don't think that's the way the world was intended to be, but that's the way it is because of, you know, technology. A lot of stuff is setting us back right now. So we're trying to use technology right now,
and you know what,
in a backlash to spread love.
Say something about what you said about speaking to people, about people being cordial. You know, me and my wife were talking the other day, and she was like, I miss the days when people I would just walk down the street and be able to say hi to somebody and somebody would speak. And then me, on the other hand, I was like, what you want to speak to people for? Because that is crazy, man. People do not speak to anybody. And it wasn't like, why you trying to, it was just like, why you trying to, like, because people be so on edge nowadays. It's like they don't want nobody to speak to them, but it's important to be able to speak. And she was talking about how she missed those days about being able to interact, you know, positively with people, even if you don't know them, just walking down the street, being just friends, just friendly, man, just that positive energy. You know what I'm saying? But, sorry to cut you off, but I had to talk about that because that was just so true. Because
I mean, it is very true. But with his message, along with that, that's just how he carries himself day to day. We became best friends in college, and he's one of the people who the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now is because I always had him in the back of my ear, like, you should be acting, because when we were in college, that's what I enjoyed the most, that's what I showed the most love to, it wasn't even a major at our school, but because I studied film, I got to act a lot in his films and my films and other people's films.
Right.
But he didn't really want his image to take over the fan base as far as what he physically looks like, so he had this smart idea to cast actors in his music videos instead of him. And it all takes place in the character, my character's name is Bo. It all takes place in one day of his life. Jumbo is kind of like the introduction video, Just For You, which is a very popular song that's featured on FIFA right now. And he has a huge fan base that loves that song. And that's Just For You is kind of like about, you know how women talk about how guys are always doing them wrong and cheating and doing all this other stuff? We don't really have a lot of songs that talk about those good guys that go out of their way to kind of prove themselves to this girl, and you know, and then they kind of just, you know, dust it off like it's nothing and don't really acknowledge it. And even if there's even some leading on with those situations, so I don't think it's so one based of like, you know, this sex of men do this to women. I think people do this to people. And this very well illustrated. The whole video was a dream sequence. It was really about me trying to stop this girl from going to this other guy that she thinks is better than me, which is actually in turn my best friend in the storyline. And in the next video games, where the werewolf, the whole reason why I turned into a werewolf,
it all went bad,
is because I got pissed off that I made a date with this girl early in the morning. We were supposed to meet in the park and she just doesn't show up. So I go to her house and she's there with my best friend, all cozied up with him. So I bust in the window and I get so angry I spontaneously turn into a werewolf. And I tie them up and everything, and then I do a little dance or whatever. It's a fun, entertaining video that everybody loves. And but after that, the subject matter of the rest of the EP gets very, very serious. You know, the next video we kind of get into Buddha. Buddha is about a woman. Buddha is about appreciating the physical traits of a woman as well as what's on the inside. So it's totally okay to be in love with, you know, a woman's buttocks and body and just, you know, the way she looks, because it's a work of art. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
But also,
I love women. Women are beautiful.
But also don't forget that this is important too. You know, she has to have something else to offer other than that, because then you're just gonna be unhappy.
What you mean, a hairstyle? You put the braid.
Nah,
the braid.
Nah, I mean, you know, the hair gotta be right. I was talking about the her hair gotta be right, you know, and
the braid.
Yeah, because a lot of the times, you know, I've even been, you know, guilty of that, you know, just being so caught up with how someone looked, and then halfway through, I'm like, wait a minute, why am I even hanging out with this person? This person is not even I should not even be hanging out with this person right now.
My mom always say, looks ain't everything.
Yeah, it's really not everything. So that song is definitely appreciating that in the image of a woman. And we had a great aerialist in the video. There's only like a few black aerialists in the world, and we found one in Japan and flew her out for the video.
Very nice.
Veronica Blair. Shout out to Veronica Blair. She's a big supporter of all the projects too. And after that, Full Moon is like a dedication to Trayvon Martin, because we're all in black hoodies, and that's what kind of hints at
That's
the next
one right there.
the next video, Police, and that's where we kind of get brutalized by the police. And it's about, like, there were so many killings close together in July this summer that motivated us even more to do that and share that video as much as we can. It's a very hard video for anybody to watch that's close to me, because I get very effed up in it, you know, a lot of blood. And we tried to method act that as much as we could. We tried to choreograph that as much as we could also, but also we were like, me and the other actor, Inko Kaylee, we were like, you know, don't be soft with us, you know.
Right.
Be rough with us. Right. Throw us in the van, tie us up.
It needs to be realistic.
Yeah, it had to be realistic. And I love method acting also, so that's why I could get so caught up with the character. And this past month was just so crazy. I had to prepare for 3 characters at once, and I never really did that before. So, and they were all heavy characters. Tony Havoc was, you know, crazy abusive, and you know, there's the whole scene of me having to try to force her to give me oral and all that. And yeah, I don't know if you saw that clip.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but that was another last minute thing that slipped in there. She was like, okay, I didn't really write that in the script, but this is what I intended. So you're gonna have to do this. And if you hear, I watch the footage back all the time and just listen to the audience reaction. Like, you hear them gasping and stuff. And I love that we were able to get people so amped up and angry.
Right.
And because somebody in that audience is getting their ass beat, and they're gonna watch it and say, I don't have to deal with this, or this is a problem. Like, you know, I'm just like this girl. Like, I don't have to put up with this. Hopefully that's what happens. I hope that when people see shows like that I'm in, that when I'm playing the bad guy, it just opens up their mind to, like, I don't have to put up with that, or I should help this friend that's going through this or that. Other than that, I actually currently just got 2 new scripts that I'm looking over now.
Very nice. This young man stays working.
Yeah,
I'm always seeing him doing something.
You know, I think I'm addicted to being other people other than me. I think I'm starting to be just like a straight up schizo that just enjoys being other people.
That's what that's called.
Yeah, because, you know, because I got my journal, you know, I make my journal entries, and I get carried away with it, and I get lost in this world. I create a whole world for the characters.
So do you wake up in the morning to, like, put on 15 different outfits, like a construction worker, a military person, a superhero? Who the hell am I gonna be today?
Not exactly, but I do have a wardrobe for every different character, and I try to make them personalized as much as I can. Like, I mean, I'm sure wardrobe will be provided for one of these recent guys I just got. I'm playing somebody named Kevin in a short film. It's a project I'm really happy to even be a part of. It's so crazy the way it happened too, because yesterday I had just planned to go get the second part of the script for the theater show this month, which I did. But before that, I get a call from our friend who helped produce Kamal's videos. And he was just like, you know, I'm working on this project, this short film with this guy, and I don't think that the actor that they have is just right. I think you would do it way better, but I need you to make an audition tape and send it to me so I could send it to him ASAP. So I did that. He sent me slides, and I read through a page of it and recorded it. I send it to him. He sends it to the guy. He hits me back, and he's like, yo, they canceled the other guy's audition. They want to see you now. So, and that has never happened to me before. So I was just like, all right, I gotta go.
Gotta go.
I went and I met them. We ran through the script a few times. And then, yeah, we made it official. It was like, all right, you're casted as this guy. We're gonna shoot next week. It's a very beautiful story because it's based off of something that really happened back in 2008. A Bronx kid, you know, sticks up this MTA worker, an older guy, but he decides to act as his guardian angel, and he helps him in getting some food to eat that night, gives him his coat because it's cold outside. You know, you're gonna be out here robbing people all night, you need a coat.
Right.
Who really does that?
Right.
And my character isn't exactly a bad person, not like Tony, but that's what leads to him being open to even listening to anything this guy has to say.
Sometimes people just get put in bad situations instead of just being an actual
they're not an actual bad person. With Zeke, the guy with the pilot I was talking about that I did last month, it was a little tricky because when I was presented with the character, I kind of got that brief. Like, you know, he's not that bad of a guy. He's just a product of his environment. But he's just so ruthless that it was hard for me to play the character and feel like I wasn't really a bad person.
Right.
Because all of a sudden I had to just like, I had to do a scene with this kid where I take his shoes on the basketball court. And I met this kid an hour before that, not knowing he's playing the kid. I just thought it was one of the crew members' kid on set, like just hanging out. The next thing you know, they start telling me, all right, you got to walk up to him and do this. I was like, oh, him. I was like, damn, he's such a nice kid.
Right.
Shoot.
That's what happens.
It was intense, but
Jordans.
Look, he was experienced too, so we banged it out pretty well, and we got some very good footage. It was a great project to work on. Shout out to Lisa Regina, the writer. She's worked on a few projects like Sopranos and stuff like that. You know, she had a great vision. She wanted me to play the gang leader who is head of the Tense and Thompson's gang in Philly. But the huge conflict of the story is that these war vets come back into town from the army, and they find that their streets is not safe anymore. It's now being run by these gang members. Every few blocks you got a leader taking control of that area, and I play Zeke, the leader of those blocks. And it's an interesting story. I really want to see it come to life and be developed, and it's such an intense character too, because I was forced to do a Denzel. Like, I'm glad that I'm such a big fan of Denzel that I thought of him in this moment where I was in a tight spot where we were shooting an outdoor scene. Sometimes you don't really have control of everything that's going on around you, like pedestrians and stuff, and you can't exactly always hear every time they're saying action and cut. So then you're forced to actually be that character the entire time.
Right.
And the other actors, I feel like, started feeling like, oh, he's serious the whole time, because they were kind of joking around in between takes, and it was making it a little challenging to be the character too with them doing that. And I didn't really feel like being like, hey guys, you guys need to be serious, because they were serious when it came time to be on camera, and be in action. But for me, it's just hard to switch back and forth. So I had immediately was just like, all right, I got to be Zeke the entire time now. And some of them were just like, oh wait, is he like upset with us? Like, cause Zeke just doesn't look like me. His resting face just doesn't look like me. And that's another thing I really enjoy too, creating different faces. Because the human body has so many muscles in our faces. You know, there's so much that you can do with these characters. I actually learned that from one of the greats, Marlon Brando. He was someone that pointed that out in an interview. He literally, he's the first person I ever heard say, oh, to be a great actor, you just have to be a great liar.
Yeah.
You know, acting is imitating life.
Right,
you know?
You just got to get them to believe.
Yeah, you just got to get them to believe it. And yeah, it was intense. But all of these things kind of are falling around the same right timeline of each other, like the type of characters I'm doing, because you know, I had to play a psychopath in my first internet commercial that I just wrapped up last month also, and there was no dialogue in that, and the audition of that was intense. Like, this is what I'm saying, this is why 2016 seems like 2 years to me, because you got the shows I did with you on top of 5, 6, 7, 8 plus shows on top of that. Then you got all these other film projects that just started popping up out of nowhere. I shouldn't say pop up out of nowhere, because I'm really always trying to get into something. And you, as an actor, you deal with rejection all the time. You know, you don't get nearly to everything that you go for. I went on auditions for a whole year before I even got a callback, and that callback wasn't you got the role. It was just they just wanted to see me a second time, and I didn't get it. So it wasn't until I worked with Bonnie that I actually got something. But with that audition, I'm always gonna remember that audition for the Forgiver app. Forgiver app is coming out soon. It's an app basically. If you're on bad terms with somebody and you need to clear the air, Forgiver app is gonna be, I guess, that new thing of forgiveness. Like, you know, I guess kind of a Hallmark thing maybe, but like.
So you send them a sorry through an app.
Basically.
Instead of saying sorry in person.
Right, but some conflicts, it's not good to meet face to face with the person because they probably don't want to see you if the tension is that bad. So you might have to send it to.
Open up the Forgiver message.
They might open up a Forgiver message. So and the commercial was interesting because it took place in a world where forgiveness wasn't a thing and people were just getting revenge on each other and trying to hurt each other all the time. I played the psychopath in school who basically had no personal vendetta against anybody, but I just liked hurting people. So people would come up to me and be like, I want this done to this person, and I would help them do it.
Right.
And then the audition was crazy because I had no idea. Sometimes you don't get that much information about what it is when you go into an audition. I went in just knowing this is for some app called Forgiver and be here at this time. I get there, I get to the room, they're like, this is no dialogue. So we need very nonverbal acting from you, and the goal right now is to intimidate the person across from you. Here's some props, get started. Now, they gave me a stapler and a chair. I didn't know what to do with the chair, so I started doing pull-ups off of it or push-ups like this, knowing the person across from me wouldn't be able to do it just from looking at her, like her stature. I was like, she's not gonna be able to do this. So then that was one down. All right, stapler. I'm sure you could probably guess what I did.
Shooting the staples at her?
That actually would have been doable because I wasn't allowed to touch her, but they didn't say nothing about stapling her.
They
actually
say the staples couldn't touch her.
Wow, maybe I
They didn't say you couldn't staple her.
Well, I did. Well, long story short, I didn't do that, and I stapled myself. I started driving staples into my hand because I figured that would scare the shit out of somebody.
Right.
And I started
Like,
pulling
this
them out
fool
one.
is crazy.
Yeah. Like so, I started pulling them out one by one, and then my bleeding and stuff on my hand. And I'm hearing like the producers flinch behind the cameras, like, "Oh shit! Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Is he serious?" Like, and if she didn't do it, she was like, "No, I'm okay. I'm good." Lo and behold, that actually got me the role because they're like, okay, this guy's crazy. We want him to play a psychopath. He's obviously crazy, so they actually ended up giving it to me.
Look,
and like,
you gotta do what you gotta do. Yo, go ahead and give him your, so we don't run out of time, man. This has been a great interview, man. I love this kid right here, Mr. Michael Excel. Go ahead and give him your information. Get this man some work right
my
here.
name is Michael Excel again. Info is Excel, that's EXCELL 9311 @gmail.com for bookings and inquiries. If you're, I don't know, a script writer, director, whatever project you're working on in the NYC area, or even, you know, somewhere else, you know, you never know. I'm very open to a lot of things. I will say there's very little, I'm starting to learn that there's very little that I won't do. So if you have like a crazy role or anything out there, something, you know, very physical, I would love to take a stab at it, you know. I love this business. I love this. I can't see myself stopping anytime soon.
Right. And that about sums it up. We can't see ourselves stopping. We won't stop. I thank Mr. Michael Excel for coming down again.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another hit show, The Actor's Cut. Peace.
How do you know if you're off?
Because it'll cut off on TV right at 28 minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's why you got to time it just right. So we're not in mid talking and cut off.
Yeah, we were in the other room last time, right?
Yeah. That was good shit right there, Mike.
Yeah, man.
That was good shit.
Yeah, there is so much. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, because last time I forgot to even talk about the Come Out Project, and it was such a huge part of this